Gated chocolate. In Conker's Bad Fur Day, there's a piece of chocolate behind a gate which you can't reach. People of course wonder how you do this, such as opening it up or finding a hidden path which will lead you to the other side. People tried and failed to do this. Apparently the devs knew people would do this, so they put a piece of chocolate where you can't get it, knowing it would annoy people. Bowser Portrait Level. In Mario 64, you of course jump into portraits to reach the levels. So of course when you see a Bowser portrait, you naturally want to jump into it, especially the first time when you run up to it and fall into a trapdoor. And one of the entries on the Mario 64 Iceberg is speculating on what exactly that level would be if you could reach it. And we're going to be talking about that much later on in the series. This also leads to personalized copy stuff, such as people swearing that they did jump into it back then as a kid, which we're going to have to rely on more in the future as these get more vague. Extra elemental arrows. So in Ocarina of Time, we all know about the arrows that are in the final game and the powered up versions. However, people of course want more of these since they're just cool, and some theories are just like ones that connect to their temples such as Shadow and Spirit, and there's not really like many unlock methods that were given for these. I've heard before that like the guide in the Haunted Wasteland would have given you some, but that's about it. Castle Secret Floors. Another vague but really cool Super Mario 64 one, which is going to be like the theme from here on out most of the time. But it's just simply that there's more floors in the castle to find and explore. The most popular one is a 4th floor, but also a 2nd basement floor. And this connects even further to like personalized copy stuff, such as people swearing that they saw it as a little kid and being able to describe the music, as well as the levels that are in there, such as alternate versions of existing courses like a night ice level or a blue lethal land place, as well as brand new ones that we're going to be talking about later on in the series. Cage Coco. So this is a Majora's Mask one, and apparently something that was a thing back in the day, and like the most well-known Majora's Mask thing, as silly as it sounds. But yeah, apparently people speculate that the Coco in the observatory had a purpose to it, and it's just in a cage for no reason. There's nothing you can do with it. And as we've seen with the chocolate and Marty, people just naturally want to open these up. But yeah, it's funny, and that's about it to it. I mean, it's the best we got, aside from, like, one that we're going to be talking about later, and using Fierce T80 out in the field, but people seem to know you can just glitch that. Donkey Kong 64 Inaccessible Doors. So, I say doors, but really this can just cover every oddity in Donkey Kong 64 that you stumble upon, aside from, like, a few others I'm going to be saving for later, such as, like, the Winky texture that's in the temple where you save Tiny, at least it looks like Winky, or that creepy castle pillar, which apparently is just for aiming at a banana balloon, but it's so detailed and unique looking, where it's like, is that really all it's for? But yeah, as for doors, in Fungi Forest Lobby, you open up a couple of them to lead to other things. However, there's one that you never open up. People believe this would have contained a 1-up balloon back when that was still a thing in the game. And in Angry Aztec, you see these like parts of the wall that kind of pop out and are separated from the rest, but there's just nothing you can do with them. I recommend the video Donkey Kong 64 Mysteries. It goes over all of these. It makes me sad to say, but it's pretty old at this point. However, it still is pretty interesting. Medallion Power. In Ocarina of Time, once you get a medallion, it says blank adds their power to yours. However, you never actually increase in strength or abilities or anything from these, so people wondered what was up with that. And it led to this theory. Supporting it is the fact that beta stuff shows you will be able to equip them like actual items. People speculate what these were for, such as them being able to warp you, or that you will be able to equip them with the arrows to get the elemental powers, including the ones that we talked about just earlier. However, what's been proven to be the most accurate and the closest to final game was that they would have worked like magic spells. And apparently the three that we got, normally Din, Faru, and Nehru, would have been connected to Fire, Forest, and Spirits, respectively. Adding onto this even further is the fact that you can still see the Fire Medallion symbol in the Shadow Temple entrance. However, recent data mining shows that for light, we would have gotten the ability to light up dark rooms, ice with water nowhere to be seen with frozen enemies, dark with no shadow anywhere, and this is the first time we heard of it, would have acted like the Stone Mask in Soul, which is especially weird because it connects with Spirit Temple with what you control Navi, like a Hyrule Pair and Wind Waker. Yeah, we're going to be talking about these dungeons much later on in the series, If you want more info, I recommend looking at the leaks or like a better Ocarina of Time Iceberg video, such as the one that mentions oddities in the title. I might be linking all of these in the description or comments. Crusha in story mode. In Donkey Kong 64, you can unlock Crusha as a playable character in the multiplayer mode. Of course, people wondered, is there a way to use him in the single player mode, because it's weird that he's just left out. Chicago Ghost. This was originally really obscure, but recently blew up in popularity like last year. And in Perfect Dark, there's the Chicago level, and in there is like a secret bar area which you can't open up normally. You have to do a trick where you lure enemies to open up the door for you. But adding this is people encountering these mysterious things where enemies will just die for no reason, or you hear gunfire from out of nowhere, or you enter the bar to investigate and suddenly you're killed by a stray arrow. Yeah, it's pretty creepy, mysterious. I'm keeping it fake here, but there's a big video in here that goes over almost everything about it. Mario Party 3 unlockable characters. So this alludes to what it says exactly on the tin, and where this theory comes from is not just like Waluigi and Daisy like having a weird appearance in the story mode, but also right on the back of the box it said you can unlock characters, but you automatically start with them in like multiplayer and everything, so people thought there was more out there. Beta screenshots show that you would have to unlock Waluigi and Daisy for probably everything, but yeah, this just makes people think that there's more out there considering we didn't know about that back then. Wind Temple. We sort of mentioned this a bit earlier, but if you look at the Forest Temple medallion, you can see what looks like a fan. And in Ganondorf's castle, the room for the forest is more wind-themed with said fans. So yeah, people found out, of course, that forest replaced wind, which was going to be a beta thing. However, people still think that there could have been a way to access this in the final game. Ice Temple. This is the sister theory to that, and we mentioned it more clearly already. But yeah, looking at the water medallion, you can see ice shards, and it's the same for Ganondorf's castle, where the room is ice-themed, and then of course there's the ice cavern, and we just confirmed it was originally going to be a thing. But then, of course, people still speculate back then that there is an ice temple somewhere in the final game. Grunty Slayer and Tooie. In Banjo-Tooie, you start out at Spiral Mountain, and it's the same as it is in Kazooie, but more desolate, before going off to the new, overly gigantic hub world. Now, you can enter Grunty Slayer 2, but only the first floor, which is not the first floor, the first room, which is in ruin, and everything else is blocked off by debris, so people want to see if there's a way you could get past it and explore the rest of the lair and see what's become and maybe find something special. Or Mouth's Briefcase. This one used to be a lot more popular, but I feel like people have forgotten about it lately. But in GoldenEye 007 at the silo level, Ormov appears near the end and he shoots at you then runs off. However, using cheat codes, you can manage to kill him if you have enough skill, and he'll drop his briefcase and you can actually pick it up and examine it like a normal item. So this led people to speculate if there was something you could actually do with the briefcase and what its purpose would be. Yellow cap switch. We know that there's 3 yellow cap switches in Mario 64 normally. However, what's missing is a yellow one, which was also in World. Now, of course, beta stuff shows that there was going to be one, and that apparently its purpose was to unlock Koopa shells. Now, this is kind of weird to me. I like to think that maybe that wasn't always the final intent, unless if I'm just wrong, and that Koopa shells just happen to be the file that's there to replace it now in the final build. But what if it gave you like the power balloon, because those are also yellow, then in the DS version you do get something like that. But anyway, this leads to personalized copy stuff even more. It's not just people speculating if it's in the final game, but people who swear that they actually did find it when they were playing it as a kid. Kamek/Magic Koopa. This is referring to them being unlockable as a character in Mario Kart 64. I use both names just because I'm not sure which one people would refer to them like specifically. But yeah, we saw them in beta footage. However, this is talking about them as still appearing in the final game, and something that supports this theory and helps start it is the fact that they still have a level named after them, that being Magic Koopa Desert. Brown Yoshi. We talked about Purple Yoshi in the last video, and this just adds the Brown Yoshi to that, which people believe that you could also probably unlock alongside the Purple Yoshi. Brown Yoshi never really got specific unlock methods speculated about, or even appeared on walkthroughs, shame, but it's still a thing that people thought you could do alongside Purple. Rental Mewtwo. Mewtwo appears as the final boss in Pokemon Stadium, only in the one-player mode, which you can then access it to if you manage to beat it or even reach that in the first place. However, people wondered where Mewtwo would appear in the multiplayer mode because, weirdly, he's nowhere to be seen ever. Now, this one hits for me personally because I swear I borrowed a friend's copy of this game and Mewtwo 100% was available in the normal battle mode. Like, I didn't have to do anything special or anything, he was just already there, supposedly already unlocked, and apparently that's not normally a thing. I wasn't even this young when this happened. Like, I swear this is how it went normally. So if anybody can explain this, then go ahead. Like, our personalized copy is real and a thing for Pokemon Stadium. But yeah, this does it for this layer. Next layer, we're going to be talking about things that are much more under the surface to the mainstream eye, as well as just some other things that are a bit more vague and up to interpretation, but grew more in popularity lately. See you then.